Yo, it's Tusk Talk motherfucking Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, Dylan, hop up on stage, motherfucker. What's going on, everybody?
I'm just sitting here talking to you like it ain't nobody's business.
What up, what up, what up? How's everybody doing? Welcome. Big step today in my future.
It happened.
And
you guys were going to get that a lot earlier.
In everybody's future. I hope, to get something tangible out for Glacier to get the first steps of Glacier and let you all bask in the glory of the new Discord. Man, I'm excited. I almost did it yesterday. Dylan had to talk me off the cliff.
He was so excited.
I almost just said, fuck it, I'm going to do it. So I've had somebody building it out for me to make sure it's as secure as possible and follows all the standard protocols for security for Glacier. And I really wanted the theme, of course, about Synthwave. And that's not it. That's not the only surprise tonight. I am going to show some work in progress pictures of Glacier and the new theme. It looks like my chat widget was working literally when I was testing it, but for some reason now, there it is. Look at that top up. I got it. Yeah, so here we are. Let me know what you think about the logo. It is a work in progress as well, but I paid a designer that you're going to see has done excellent work, and Jumpman is already working and managing putting that up on our test net. And to let you all know, we have it on. We are deploying on testnet probably by the end of this weekend or the start of next week. We will have a working copy of Balancer Beats to start testing some of the feature list for Glacier, and that's a huge step in development instead of just planning everything out. Me and Owen and Mark had some extremely cool ideas for the utility of Glacier in the ecosystem. I'm very happy with it. It's not currently on any decks, and I think it plays to a lot of what DeFi is right now, and so I'm really excited. I'm excited with the process. So excited that I actually lost $3,600 the other day, making a huge fuck up, sending money to Coinbase,
Again.
Which I'm now gonna have to front from my own personal funds. That it doesn't even really matter, because I'm just happy to be here. You guys know I love building. So yeah, I hope your week's been great. I hope you're ready to settle in for an hour with us on the Tusk Talk Friday number 31. I told you guys last week that I'd have more info for you, and this week here I am with more info. So I keep hearing I didn't even turn the notifications off for the new the Discord because I wanted to hear it. I can hear, and I probably should turn that off actually, because it is banging right now. Let me mute that. So so I wanted to make sure that I produce something as tangible as possible through the next steps of developing Glacier, because you all have to understand that this isn't a DeFi degen project. It's a business, and it's a business for me and my career, and I take it very serious. And so to do that very seriously, there has to be contingencies. There has to be a lot of steps taken, and sometimes they're not as fast as the degen nature of things in DeFi goes. So yeah, man, I'm just really happy to get something out to you guys and to show off the logo, and maybe it's small to you all, but it's a big step for me, because so long have I been talking about Glacier and the things involved in Glacier, and to get a first part of that project out, to get some type of to get out the Discord to my community that I adore and love so much. I'm just excited, man. It's a great first step, and I think this is literally one of the most crucial times to build for protocols, and we're doing that. And so I'm also very happy with that I'm still in the game almost a year later. Since I plunged in full time into DeFi, it was last month, so I was a year full, like pretty much tinkering with DeFi, and then in January 15th, I'll be 1 year in DeFi. And how cool would it be if I could launch around that time? And then, of course, we have the 1 year of Frozen Walrus coming up in May. So we got a little while for that one. But yeah, I got some exciting stuff to talk about with Narwhal and doing some cool stuff with it. I have the AVAX house we had to announce today, and I know things have been moving slow and most Discords are dead. But, we're still building. I haven't lost any kind of oomph in my step, other than the normal burnouts that you get throughout any industry that you work in. We're still passionate and ready to go, man. So I hope everybody had a chance to join in the Glacier Discord. It looks like we're getting some people piling in. Tons of people in there talking, and that's really cool. Yeah, so if you didn't know, there's going to be levels in that chat. Most of the color schemes are completely to do with synthwave. We may change some stuff around. Of course, we're going to have new server icons once we get boosted enough. We are not boosted. I had to boost some, and I think some other people boost it, but we need 7 for server icons, but Dylan's already getting them ready. That's his thing. It's his forte. We're really looking to expand the team. Of course, we already have a pretty decent sized team, but we are going to grow as rapidly as I can on my team size. I want to consistently open up job opportunities for people in my community and outside, just to build the biggest, most impactful team that I can. and so we'll just have to see where that takes us. Hopefully we have the funding for it, and as we go, hopefully we will. Yeah, so what's up, Top Gun? Top Gun's over his sickness.
Well, somewhat over it.
Well, you don't sound like absolute shit, so that's cool.
That's very cool. I agree.
You think these people are
Yeah,
ready to see
she's.
the design?
I don't. It's fuck. He showed it to me today, guys. It's fucking sick. Like sicker than I was this week. I'm excited for you guys to see it.
Sick. And so realize that I'm only showing you all because and the huge stipulation here that I want to put in is that it is a work in progress. Things will change, fonts will change, but the overall theming of it will stay pretty consistent. And I think this designer's done, in my opinion, a spectacular job in the overall, grand scheme and the way that the things that I said I wanted, but didn't know how to really put into words. He was able to just kind of throw it on a page and design, and that's what designers do, and that's why he cost what he cost. I think it's worth every cent. But who knows? Let's hope that
it's definitely.
Let's hope that we can keep building this out and build something special, because honestly, I think that me and Jumpman were actually talking about. I see Jumpman's in here. He had actually he knows a lot about design aspect, and he actually saw that in 2023 it's one of the top design trends is this retro wave that I love so much. I didn't know that it was a trending thing, but of course I've always loved it. So yeah, as long I'll show everybody, as long as we keep in mind that it is complete work in progress, and don't hold me, to any specific designs that you see on here. I just wanted to show you all as much tangible stuff as I could through Figma, and let you all get a feel for what we're building. And then more features and stuff. I'm currently actually working on a flowchart right now of all the things you can do with Glacier in the ecosystem to really map it out for users. We also have a feature list and things that we plan on releasing post-launch, pre-launch. There's a lot of work going into it, guys, and we're kicking ass right now. We're really trying to, and I just saw that shout out to Truth Seekers. They just had a $1.9 million pre-sale sell out in about an hour. So it's cool to see that going on in the space and seeing that there's money still here. Just nobody wants to separate with it freely. And that's why I'm putting so much effort into this, so that people aren't just giving up money, but they understand that what they're buying into is something special, and it's ran by a team that cares and looks to the future of DeFi. And I want a career here, and I think this is the next step for me solidifying that career. So is there any questions at this time, Dylan? Otherwise, I can blab a little bit about more things, but we can also show off Glacier too. Like, I'm okay with showing off Glacier right now.
Dot Hack Waifu Hunter wanted to know where you got the nerve. That was before we released anything. So
true that. Dot Hack. At least he's gotten too tired recently. I don't know what's going on, but he hasn't been saying oof a lot in the chat, which is.
I'd say he is tired. And then Temporal Ice, how is the launch being planned? Which I assume we'll probably touch on that a little bit today.
Sure, yeah. The reason that there's not a lot of tangibility on these things is because there's so many moving pieces, and it's even difficult for me to keep up with all of the moving pieces. But as we move closer, things are getting more confined and compartmentalized. I'm finding people to make sure that they're over top of that, and that I'm able to oversee everything. And so everything has to fit into place before we move to the next one. And so I'm taking it as slow as I can, which is why you haven't seen the Medium articles yet, the Twitter activity, any kind of launch dates, any kind of audit dates or marketing, because we're in the very early stages of Glacier. I've made that very clear, and I'm just taking the time to make sure everything's in place so that we have the most potential for success that when I launch it, I want to know that I've done everything I possibly can to make Glacier as big and as strong as I think it can be. Dylan actually got I saw Dylan tweeted out, if you don't follow Top Gun on Twitter, like I don't, because I don't use Twitter.
Clearly.
But what is it? What was the platform? I know it's a huge Chinese company.
Alibaba.
Yeah.
Alibaba. You can now launch AVAX nodes on the Ali Cloud, which is
cool.
it's a big deal.
Maxi, so that's a huge partnership in my book. I'm glad to see other blockchains like Polygon and stuff, taking the reins and getting these partnerships, because other big companies are going to be looking at blockchain tech to some capacity and everything that we can get. AVAX is, in my opinion, undervalued chain, and so is Phantom, and there's a couple others. But really what I think makes AVAX a sleeping beast is because there's not a lot of financial tools available on it. Most users interact with Trader Joe exclusively. Of course, Aave is on there, so we can't say that they don't have these kind of tools. But we also have Vinium now, which is just getting its legs in the market, which I'm extremely excited about because of its tight network with with Glacier and with me and LB. And I don't know. I really feel strongly that AVAX will be a strong contender for a top 5 chain in the next bull cycle. Other people have different experiences and opinions. I'm obviously not an expert, but I do have a bias for AVAX, and I do love it. So I'm very excited for Glacier. I think I finally have a good connect into the AVAX side of things, some of the team, and I'm going to continue pushing that and see if we can get further funding through AVAX, or at least marketing campaigns done, so that people take us as serious as I think they should. Let's see. Any other questions? And I'm going to go ahead and show off Glacier.
Show it off.
All right, guys. Again, a complete work in progress. This is just a design. This is not the front end. This is just the design, ladies and gentlemen. Okay?
Why don't you post it in the Glacier Discord? Or are we doing a live or like a screen share?
I'm doing a screen share on YouTube in case you're unaware. So if you want to
screen share on
over
YouTube
to the YouTube, I have it up right now. As you can see, we have our same logo that's currently on our Discord, and some of this will be changed around a little bit. But you can see some of the buttons that we've chosen to do are absolutely spectacular. I love these buttons. A real grainy vibe. A lot of the framework over the pools and stuff. It's very refined, but it still screams that exact synthwave view that I really enjoyed. I think it's an excellent homepage that really draws the eyes and allows for brand recognition, and is super marketable. So this is the front page, and I do have a picture of the swap page as well. So I'll give everybody a second. Let me know what you think in the AMA chat if you haven't seen it. Maybe somebody can post it up. I don't know.
Scroll back up. I'll post it.
So you guys can see it. We're going to move over to the swap page. And again, Jumpman, he is excited as hell. He loves this design like I do. He's been ready and willing to just really push this front end and put it on and start designing it. I've been slow to work, but he has been ready to go, and he has been adamant on getting this. So when we got all the Figma files for this today, he was ready to go. So we should start seeing some implementation pretty soon. But shout out to Jumpman for really pushing it and continuing to try and build as fast as possible. Awesome. So here is the homepage. I am going to switch over to the swap page. As you can see, the swap page is absolutely fantastic again. And again, this is all based on beats. So if you look at beats, a lot of the theming is completely different, but the actual core of it is very similar. And we may not go one-to-one with it, but I wanted to make sure he designed it one-to-one to make sure implementation was as easy as possible. So we may have a difference there eventually. But for now, we wanted to make sure that we were capturing elements that we wanted. I think they call them modals. That we wanted all of the small little different elements that we'd be implementing that are actually Web3 elements. All of those things needed to be very similar. But yeah, yeah, I absolutely love it. You guys let me know what you think. I'm very excited and very proud of this. And I think this is going to look excellent. Excellent on Web3. And really, I think it does a lot with the dark background, and it doesn't draw away from the eyes with too much color around, even though Retro Wave really has a lot of color behind it. But it is a really cool design. So clearly this guy was worth every penny to me. I'm proud of this.
Yes.
I enjoy it. I hope you guys do too. But yeah, if you missed it,
it'll be on YouTube later.
Because YouTube keeps it. So, yeah. So what do you guys think? Hopefully you've all joined the Discord, and you're loving the designs. Jumpman said he doesn't know how to go on stage. Pretty sure you can. You just have to say it's on the bottom there, somewhere. But yeah, boys and girls, just to let you guys know, we are working. That's why I'm showing you this stuff. I feel like I have to constantly make sure that like I'm proving that work is being done. But yeah, hopefully that was enough tangibility for you guys to know that this isn't all just mouth work, and that I'm putting money up, and we're putting everything on the table to make a successful protocol. That was the most exciting part of my entire week, was being able to unveil that to you all. I love designs. So when I had this, I was like, hell yes, I got to show this to my community.
This almost came, about 11:30, 12 this afternoon. And I said, Austin, you're bored. You just want to announce something. I was like, let's wait for the Tusk Talk. Let's reward the people that come to the Tusk Talk.
Yeah, I was jumpy because I really wanted to show people. I'm always like that. I'm always very... I don't know. I just like showing shit off when I have it like this. It's just really cool, like that I'm developing these protocols in DeFi and blockchain, and I'm just proud of it. Temporal Ice, how long will this be in testnet? It's a good question. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. So what we have to do is currently get a working copy of the fork and all of the tech involved on testnet. We have to use all of the features, and at that point we will start manufacturing new features and some of the old features to ensure that we can make adjustments to things like a mission schedule and such like that. And then once we do that, then it would start going into auditing and marketing. And so, we've got some time ahead of us, guys. And I'm sorry to tell you that, but we do have some time ahead of us. I'm not saying 6 months, but there is work to be done, and it won't be rushed.
Look, we got an extra person on stage.
Oh, Jumpman's up here. Jumpman,
there he is.
What's up?
Tell him how you feel about that design.
Oh man, I'm so pumped. Yeah, I'm just super excited because there's been, LHV covered it well, but just a lot of really deliberate work to get, kind of to this point, and I think it's really going to pay off. And I know that, like, even from my vantage point, but certainly from the outside, it's hard to tell, like, oh, what's happening, when's it coming. But there's just been a ton that's gone on behind the scenes to make sure it's constructed really well, which is a credit to LHB. So I think by the time this finally hits, it's going to be amazing. So it's definitely worth the wait. And when I saw the design, I was crying like tears of joy, not literally, but it's sweet. So, and I think it's going to look really great. It's going to look distinctive. It's everything that we need. So I'm already in the repo working, so it's exciting.
Yeah, man. Shout out to you, man. You've been kicking ass, getting it done, and we appreciate you.
No way.
Sure.
No way, dude. I've been so impatient. So shout out to you for being patient. So
I don't think it's patience. It's more that I have to keep expectations realistic. And you know who helps me with that is Owen, who's in the chat. Owen, if you want to come up, I just showed him.
I see him working.
If you want to come shout out, because we're gonna have an AMA actually with Owen pretty soon about Magic. And their new game that they've beautifully crafted. If you haven't checked it out, oh, he has to raise his hand. What? I thought you have.
Yeah, No, he disabled his core team role, I think, because I had to give him the.
Owen, you son of a bitch.
This feels good, guys. I needed the stretch.
How is it, man?
You've only been in AMAs for like a couple days, right?
Yeah, no, I've been chilling for my supper for sure.
Yeah, man, you've been he's been going on many of AMAs, and I'm glad that you're happy about it. And we've been working, you know, even with Owen working on Magic World, he's been doing a significant amount of work still for me and helping me and advising me and helping me with new features and tokenomics. And the last meeting we had actually made me extremely excited. I don't know that we'll unveil those feature lists yet. That one I will keep under wraps, but I think it's like Owen's goal when he first like came on the team was like, how can we make a farm token that doesn't just dump, and how can we give real utility? And some of the things that were proposed and that Mark said that is something that he can code in. I'm excited about, because I really feel like
Well, I mean,
gives that.
sorry to jump in.
No.
I like, frankly, in some of the initial implementations that I had mapped out, it was sort of based on a sort of triage approach of what I thought would be immediately possible given the resources that were available to us. Given the sort of team that you've assembled, it seems like Pandora's box has been opened in the best kind of way, and we have, like, you know, we have more of a sort of comprehensive and diverse set of novel things that we can execute on than I, you know, initially thought that we have. So it's all great things.
Yeah, it's
around.
wild to be like, hey, can we implement this? And I'm like, Owen sometimes gets in the weeds of like, he has these amazing thoughts, and I'm like, is this realistic? And it's been really cool because Mark has just been like, yeah, man, I did something like this similar, and I think I could implement it. You know, like it's almost like we have to heighten our expectations, because everything that we've thought was going to be an issue with maybe finding someone that was able to develop it, we found someone that is able to do it, and we've developed this team that I think, as we expand, is going to do some wonders on AVAX.
Well, right, and because the other thing there is when you're starting with a fork of a project, but you're trying to, you know, expand on it and create something new or improve upon it in some way, you have to sort of, you know, from my standpoint, I'm not a smart contract developer, so I'm trying to think about, get the best understanding of what those contracts are doing, and then frame a sort of new concept within the structures that already exist, to sort of make it easier for the developers. But it seems like we're going to be doing a lot more custom implementations, which is fucking awesome. I mean, it seems like, you know, this is a time we really get to do something novel and special. So, you know, just thrilled to be working on it.
I know. I think it is going to go big, and Owen has talked about, you know, some of the things we can do with Magic World, and you know, I'm just excited because I feel like the teams that really stood out during this bear cycle of everything like failing and almost throwing money at nothing, like nothing was seeming to work no matter what, we've all just been consistently building. I honestly think Magic has had it, you know, the worst or the hardest. You know, I got to launch in a different category and was able to have some early success, and I think Magic has always been at that level where they've just been, you know, overlooked, and it sucks because Owen's a genius, Jimmy's an amazing dev, and I'm glad to see that you are implementing some of the things, but we haven't even released all the things that are going to be happening with, you know, in tandem with Glacier, and obviously we're not going to tonight, but there's even more in store with things that we want to add to Glacier, and you know, with the help of Magic Team, and I'm just really excited to start getting this information out, because there's that period that you get into when you're developing that it's almost impossible to show anything off, but you feel like you're working on it every day, and there's no tangibility. But now, like, things are starting to fall in place, especially for you, Owen. I know that you're excited about it, just like with everything.
I've been like, I had said, like, I'm going full Kanye, which like hit very different a week ago.
Yeah, you don't want to say that no more.
Yeah,
Don't say that.
Like, even a week ago it probably wasn't great, but it's hitting very different today.
It is.
But yeah, no, I was definitely feeling myself for a little bit. But yeah, we're just really excited to be launching some core products that we've been working on for, you know, like the better part of half a year, a little over half a year. That's been sort of a core premise that we haven't really been able to talk about because, like, you know, it hasn't really been real to anyone, except for us, because, you know, we've been working on it. but we've like really thought deeply about novel ways to bring Walrus first, and then ultimately Glacier into sort of core functionality to this gaming world that we're building, so that like one, it can serve as some of the underlying rails for that world, so that it is recouping a lot of the value of that. And two, so those assets can have a place in that world and can be usable in that world for in-game items and other sort of things. And three, so that there's a way for this community to ultimately gain equity and a stake in that world via this sort of factions governance system. It's gonna be really fucking cool, guys. It all sounds like vaporware right now without seeing it, but we'll have an AMA. We'll bring you guys in the game. You can see it for yourself.
For sure.
We can go from there.
For sure, yeah, and and I'm not even referencing Magic World. I was just then, but like some of the other things that we're talking about, as long as Owen's on the same page, there's even more that the Magic team is developing and that is going to be released that will work hand in hand in tandem with Glacier and to bring and drive new TVL to us. And it's going to be awesome.
So we can talk about the Magic Farm side. Do you want to go into specifics, sir?
Well, the one thing that I'm talking
strategies.
Yeah, well, I wasn't even talking about that one either, but those are going to be awesome. Yeah, I would love for you to talk about that, actually. That would be really cool. But I was talking about the other thing that we decided not to release until, of course, you're ready.
Yeah, let's talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. But yeah, talk about the Magic Farm side, what we plan to implement.
Oh, so if you guys can imagine, the front of an end of a farms page, you go to a DEX, you add your LP tokens, and then you go to deposit them in a farm. So we're trying to bake in a sort of really user-friendly UX that includes like multivariate strategies for the users that are really easy to sort of deposit into. And we're going to sort of structure performance fees for vault strategies on Magic Farm so that the fees are like significantly lower to zero for the strategies that are most beneficial for Glacier. So for instance, instead of auto compounding a strategy back into the underlying LP, you take that and deposit into one of the governance LPs on behalf of that user so they can participate in governance. You get a lesser amount of sell pressure on that DEX token. And that way people can opt into those strategies, get, a better percentage APR and sort of easily build their participation in governance on the ecosystem. So just like, we're really trying to think about how we build great UX tools to make it easy for people to participate.
That was the main thing that me and him both wanted, was that, and if you're not familiar with the terms UI and UX, UI is what you see, and UX is how you interact, is basically how I would put it. And that's like,
how easy is it? How intuitive?
Yeah, how intuitive
like, can you go to the website and like, can your mom use it?
Yes, exactly. And that was one of the things that we wanted to do is bake in a lot of features straight into the farm page so that you weren't tabbing into a bunch of different tabs and viewing a bunch of different things. And I can't say that for sure we'll have that implemented day one, but that will be something that we work towards consistently, is that we want the UX to be intuitive and not redundant, and be able to give you all of the information to be an advanced user, or give you as little information to be a basic user and not be annoyed, but also allow you to select different tools that you'd like to use on the platform. And I think that is imperative to a good DEX, and realistically what that does for us as a business is allows users to transact more easily, which equals more revenue for the business, and that's an absolute necessity as well. So the easier we make it for you all, the more you all want to use it and the more fees that we generate, right? So it's a win-win for everybody on that end.
Do you want to talk about some of the sort of like novel one-off things we're thinking about implementing, or planning to implement, I should say?
I'm down. I think, well, what about the joints? Should we talk about the joints?
The joints.
Should we talk
Y'all are
about
gonna
the
love
joints?
the joints. No, I don't think we should.
Yeah. Well, let's make sure we have another meeting with Mark before we talk about.
I don't
joints.
think we should produce any documentation publicly about that until it's out.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's
agree.
too fucking good.
I agree. I don't want to.
We're selling weed.
They're selling. No.
Yes.
You guys don't even know.
The new Glacier
Web3.
fund. It's joints with a G, guys. Don't worry.
It's joints with the G. Yeah, I think that feature, you you can coin it. It's definitely something that's not done on that's on any other decks, and I think it'll drive a lot of utility into the Glacier token and make the ecosystem.
It's just going to be the coolest shit you've ever seen on a Dex.
Yeah, that really
Like,
puts
like
it on
frankly,
a high note
it'll just
there.
be the coolest shit.
I hate gassing up my own shit, man. It makes me feel weird. But I think it's very fun.
In my humble opinion, not financial advice.
Yeah, well, I think that it's very fun. And it's also a way to interact and allow for brand loyalty that makes you want to use the platform more and engage with it on a daily basis. And I think that's a necessity as well as we try and dethrone. And I don't want to say dethrone because realistically we're not an AMM. We are a full. We're different, right? We're a little bit different, so we don't have to say constantly that we're competing with Trader Joe because I think that
Kill Joe.
I think there will be enough liquidity on Avalanche over the coming years that we won't constantly be fighting for it. But I do plan to be a big contender in the space for brand recognition of somebody that AVAX wants to push forward and that wants users to be interacting with.
You know what the thing is about Glaciers, LHB?
What?
They're unavoidable.
That's right. That is very true. And we want AVAX to grow as we grow. Like if we can build something intuitive and unique to Avalanche with financial tools, that benefits Avalanche. And honestly, that's what I'm doing in this space. Like I'm not trying to be just an AVAX maxi, of course, but I do love AVAX and to continue building on a platform and on a blockchain that I love. I should be trying to help it and assist it. And so if this can drive new sources of liquidity to the chain, that's a win-win for everybody involved as well. Do we have any questions?
No, everybody's just hype.
Yeah, we're fucking overdosing on hopium over here and hype. But realistically, guys, this is stuff I've been holding in for quite some time because I've been restrictive about talking about stuff. So we've opened some of the floodgates. I wanted to release that, we are here, we're fucking working, and meeting after meeting, we get closer to being able to show more off and to explain some of the things that we're going to be implementing that isn't implemented currently, and the changes to the current model of a balancer tech and the way that governance works.
I do have one question.
What?
Radiant Lost, are you going to make changes to Glacier that remove the blind signing requirements with Ledger? I heard that have an update there.
I am not familiar with it, but I'd have to check that out because I also use a Ledger. But I'll check it out. I'll write that down. Let me get a notepad out.
And Guapo wants to know your thoughts on Avado miners.
I am unfamiliar with Avado miners, Guapo. Can you give me a recap on what they are?
I read it as a Vakadu.
For the Walrus miners, are you speaking about Walrus English Club?
Yes.
Avado is what my grandma uses to mine crypto. Okay.
Radiant Lost explained a little bit more if you want to read that.
Nano now read and display smart contract information for a range of DApps. The recent launch of our app catalog within Ledger Live enables you to access a number of DeFi and DApps from within the security of your Ledger device. So you can use the Ledger ecosystem as a secure gateway to DApps and services you love. That is cool. I would love for that implementation since I use a Ledger on a daily basis.
Well, so I was meaning to talk to you. I forgot to bring this up in the meeting with DeFi Mark, and I'm sure he's familiar with the tech that's underlying it. But have you done any transactions on Spooky since they did their update?
I have not.
They basically, the way they do it is they process the approval and the transaction basically in a batch. So you sign 2 transactions consecutively. It's really fast. So you're not granting unlimited authorization to your tokens, which I think is really
each transaction, but you're doing it more seamless, so it doesn't feel like multiple
it doesn't.
transactions.
I don't know exactly how it works. It's really nice. yeah, we should look into it. Sorry, I don't mean to get off track. I just
No,
wanted
no.
to make a
I mean,
note.
I think it's important because those are features that we're going to need to look to implement because we need to be as bleeding edge as others in the space.
You have Guapo?
I found a
should
way
probably-
to process a spooky text and skipping the second prompt. That doesn't sound good.
You should probably tell him that.
Do questions get... I'm assuming he knows some of the spooky teams. Surely, Guapo. Do questions get asked from here or YouTube? Just slap one on YouTube, but wasn't sure where to go. No, that's fine. Top Gun reads them to me.
He was asking about the.
So,
Hey, we got
Guapo
one of the
asked a
chats
question.
came up.
He asked a question: will you be performing MEV or participating in block building? Can we expect private non-OFAC censored RPCs? So that is more of a question for Sean because I'm unfamiliar, but I know we're not doing MEV. I think MEV refers to like AVAX nodes and things like that, but we're not doing that. We're doing
Well,
actual proof of
maybe.
work. But I mean, that again, this is not my area of expertise, so I could be misspeaking.
For
completely.
Glacier, possibly. I mean, there's a future in which we get a node which, that users would connect to, and we would use that we would be doing MEV for good. We could do things like just-in-time liquidity to ensure that users have enough liquidity to trade into, so they're not eating it on slippage. But I mean, that's not sort of first order priorities. Something that we will get to, tertiary stuff.
I like that word, tertiary.
Tertiary, yeah.
Tertiary.
Primary, secondary, tertiary.
Does that mean third though? Does it actually?
Let me look that up. I don't want to sound like an idiot.
Will Glacier have all the Frozen Walrus tokens incorporated into the contract?
Yeah, of course. We'll be hosting liquidity for all Frozen Walrus, for all Frozen Walrus ecosystem.
Yeah, third in level of or disease.
I've learned a word today, boys and girls. My hillbilly slang gets a little bit deeper. What's word for fourth? Fourthiary.
Yeah, fourthiary. I take her to the fourthiary.
The fourthiary path.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what got into me today.
Let's see. Oh, it looks like Guapo has pushed it to them. Welcome to English language. English language is kind of fucked up, honestly.
Still.
kinda fucked up.
Still, great language.
Now, Owen, I don't know if you remember, but you are on the core team for Glacier Finance. So you'll have to be in that Discord talking to people sometimes. You're a face, just like me now.
Oh, shit. Alright, fine.
All right, fine. All right, so with Frozen Walrus, we're thinking about doing some pretty wacky stuff with Narwhal, changing the peg, changing the liquidity, and we'll talk more about that in the future, and doing some gamify stuff with the boardroom. Hopefully in the coming weeks, you all will see that. At this point, we really want, with Tomb Forks not working as a standard, we need to just really gamify the Narwhal token as best as possible in the ecosystem, and there's so little of it available, and the treasury owns so much of it. We can kind of get a little wacky with it and see what sticks. So we're gonna be doing some testing on it and see what we can come up with. But I just wanted to make notion of that. Obviously, X Walrus is still killing it, and I think that it will pick up even more once Glacier comes out, because of course you will be getting. We're at 75%, which is 282,000 walrus burned, which is amazing. But hopefully we see that rise up and up as X Walrus gains liquidity and allows you to stake to get some of the trading pairs swap fees via Walrus and X Walrus when it goes live. So obviously X Walrus will have a higher swap fee because it should not be dumped as often. To the best of our ability, but really it's a buy and hold type token. But we are going to be adding liquidity, and I really like Balancer because you can really just like dynamically add and change swap fees and do what you need to with different token pairings, and I think that's going to be essential for the Walrus pairs. So, and some other unique things, but that's kind of what's coming up next for Frozen Walrus. Obviously, we just recently changed allocations to really give X Walrus a ton of the Walrus share emissions. We are currently at 80% of it, and the reason I did that is so that I can de-incentivize Walrus trading pair, because I just need some people to break liquidity there and put it where we need it, which is to burn more Walrus and allow for a price correction eventually, hopefully to that $1 mark that we need. So it's a slow process, but it is happening, and we're seeing it. I mean, 282,000 Walrus burn is pretty fucking fantastic, honestly. I wish I had Sean up here because he had some recent stuff about Walrus English Club. But just if you look at our events, we have a Walrus English Club Phase 2 tomorrow. I think he's doing an AMA, and then he is going to be on the Ace Miners NFT space on December 8th. And what else? I'm talking with Hydro Wells to try and get us the Twitter spaces together. They are ready for whatever. So hopefully either a Twitter space or an AMA to start selling out some of these other NFTs. But remember, realistically, it doesn't matter how long it takes us to sell the next batch. If you are a Phase 1 holder, we have miners coming in at the end of this month. So we should be able to start spinning those up and start, working on a dashboard for everybody to view. So lots of things happening, man. And nobody knows what Bitcoin's going to do. Some people think that it's the bear cycle's over, and usually that means it's not. Some people think that Bitcoin bottomed. I do not think it has. What do you think, Owen?
I don't care.
Realistically, it doesn't really matter for what we're doing, unless you're a trader, I guess. But
Yeah, I don't trade. I'm sorry. I'm boring on this account.
yeah, I'm
I
not a
just
trader
hold Magic and Walrus and some other low cap stuff, and then some long holds, and I accumulate.
either.
I'm one of those guys. I've been in stables like all year, pretty much.
Owen can attest. I don't really sell a lot of tokens. He caught me holding M share for a very long time, but now I've got more. So
You're gonna be you're gonna be okay on that account. I'm not worried.
I'm 100% positive. That's why it didn't bother me. What'd you say, Dylan?
JC wants to know what will be pairing percentage for X Walrus, like the LP percentage.
That is undetermined yet. It's something me and Owen are gonna have to talk about. I mean, it's gonna be similar to what Walrus would be. I don't know if we want to do 50-50 or if we want to do like an X Walrus USDC pairing. But we're gonna do something like that. We don't want to saturate the core pools with a bunch of frozen Walrus ones. So we're gonna try and consolidate as many of these pairings as we can, which is one of the benefits, which means we don't have to disperse Glacier emissions. But just in case you were wondering, Glacier will be moving to having a launch pad. And there's already some really cool ideas with Owen and Mark about what we can do with that launch pad that I think is an extremely good value proposition for new projects wanting to list. And I know it's kind of memey to launch a launch pad, but I think AVAX could use it because currently there really isn't a place for AVAX to have like launch tokens. And because Beats and Balancer have a bootstrap liquidity pool, which is 4 token launches. It's a 95.5 pool that goes down slowly to whatever they choose to leave it at, whether it be 50-50 or something else. I think it's a huge value proposition for new protocols to not only list on us, but also acquire Glacier through their treasury, which is one of the big benefits that we want protocols investing in.
LHB, quick question. Can we call the launchpad Joints RS?
Joints RS. I don't know what we're gonna call it, but if nothing else, I guess we have a name, Joints RS. But these protocols, we want to have a good relationship with what we're doing with their tokens and them to feel safe on launching with us, that they have the right exposure. But with that, what was I gonna say? Damn, I lost my train of thought. I was thinking of Joints R Us. Damn it, Joints R Us got me. But anyway, with tokens,
They always get you.
With tokens launching on us, I think that what Glacier can offer is better than what's currently in the AVAX market, and because there is no other place doing, I think Trader Joe does some real weird types of token launches with their RJO. And they don't really list a lot of protocols, and we will be pretty stringent with what we release. We're not just going to let everybody just like start launching on Glacier through the launchpad. There will be some contingencies in place. I don't know what they will be yet, but you guys know I don't trust a lot of people in the space. So we do want quality projects, I think, and if that comes at the cost of listing less projects, that could.
Well,
that could
I think in that, and sort of in everything we're doing, this is relates to joints, which we're not going into detail about. But a lot of the way we're thinking about these things is how can we create utility and value that isn't strictly speaking tied to money for users, and some of that's going to be tied to money, obviously. Like that's it's an exchange. That's the business it's in. But there are other things that will be valuable to different people with different strategies, different time horizons, different premises, like the sort of timeline goals, thesis of a protocol or an institution or a whale or a mid-sized investor. They're going to be coming to the protocol with different strategies. So we're just going to be making sure that we have options for everybody, and that to the best of our ability, we balance those options to make sure the incentives of all of these people with different strategies ultimately sort of are aligned via the mechanisms inherent to the protocol.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, man.
I have questions.
Go ahead. Ask some questions.
JC wants to know, but the X Walrus would earn USDC. Wondering what will be pairing for that and balance for that.
So, I mean, realistically, X Walrus will be paired with USDC.E if we go this direction, just so that it is closely tied to Walrus and USDC.E in case we put it in the same pool. And what was the other part of the question?
It was... Where'd it go? The X Walrus could earn USDC. I'm wondering what will be pairing for that and balance for that.
I answered. I don't know what the balance means, but yeah, obviously you will earn USDC as long as it's legal. Now that's the only stipulation I give you all, is that we may have to fudge the numbers around there a little bit to make sure.
I'll say fudge the numbers, LHB.
I
know what you mean.
Yeah,
Find another way to say that.
Well, everybody knows what I meant, except now it's recorded live on YouTube. But obviously, we'll change some things around just to make sure. But just in general, you will earn off of swap fees to some capacity, whatever it may be. Hopefully, and it'll be a liquid asset, and that you'll be able to, pair and constantly get no matter what. And again, the reason of that is to move Frozen Walrus into an ecosystem that can be self-contained and self-managed, and to allow it to be, decentralized eventually, and to give it things that no matter what, if I'm here or not here, Frozen Walrus and the Walrus ecosystem tokens can work as intended. And that's what we want to do with Narwhal to some capacity and Walrus Share to some capacity. We want to make sure that they all have a final use case and a final story to the books, that, when we close it, we can say this can work, regardless of sentiment. And that's kind of what we've been driving for. So.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, just to the FBI, he really didn't mean fudge the numbers.
Yeah, of course. I'm not fudge the numbers. Nobody's fudging the numbers intentionally. I just meant.
I think at this point I've said enough on the podcast. They're probably listening to me more than him.
We're already on a watch list.
I
think the next steps will probably be like filling out the Glacier roles. We still need a main marketing person. I think that I eventually want to move to getting an accountant, somebody that's familiar with, that's able to monitor the books of Glacier and to make sure that that they can talk about the runway for us. And if we say, hey, what's up? Are we good for this, and this? But yeah, And just to be clear for the FBI, that Owen is just an advisor. He's not part of the core team technically.
And just to be clear to the FBI, you'll have to come audit me in person if you want me.
There you go, ladies.
I'll be waiting.
There's gonna be like Waco up in this bitch.
I also had another question from Crypto Gamer. Narwhal, do you think it could be kind of like Arjo?
Again, I want to
We've
make
talked about that.
I want to make it apparent.
Not
that,
for Narwhal specifically, but we've talked about sort of like a sort of launchpad product where, but this is related to the joints feature, which we don't want to talk about yet. But yeah, like if you guys have any sort of novel implementations for Narwhal or Walrus, please feel free to send them my way. We have a number of things that we have in mind to implement in the future. It's just like, our priorities are focused on Glacier and getting that out because it's going to serve. It's just going to really expand a lot of the things that can be done within the Walrus ecosystem as well. So like, I mean, yeah,
Exactly.
I know I'm just like this dude coming in saying like be patient and shit. So like fuck me, but we're doing our best here. I think we're gonna do some cool shit, and feel free to shoot me a DM if you have any ideas you want to run by me.
Yeah, and so I've been very adamant on making sure that people know that there are two separate business models, but the success of one will drive the other, and the success of Glacier will drive Walrus and exposure to Walrus. But I've been very adamant on saying that the two are separate business models, and I don't want to start applying tokenomics from one to the other. And I'm not saying that we will never do it, but I'm making sure that I don't promise that, so that I can make sure that I can run Glacier like a business and Walrus like a business, that both assist each other in different ways. But just to be clear, but yeah, it's been talked about. That's so true, JC. I feel like it's gonna happen anytime.
Actually, you get invited to speak at New York Times press conferences and have politicians come out and say he's just a really good guy and he's sorry.
Did you see that he not only, and I won't dwell too far in these weeds, but he was donating to both parties, but for some reason, well, there's some loophole that you can go through.
Yeah,
Called the Capital Union or something, where you can.
he kept the Republican ones quiet.
Yeah, just because obviously most reporters are on the more liberal side, but
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying. Like, you had to know there was nothing to the Democratic hoax. It's like people like that pay off fucking everybody. They will pay off anybody who will take their money to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he had no. He didn't care which side, right? He doesn't give a fuck if it's a Democrat.
Yeah, it's just my side.
Yeah,
that was his only side.
Exactly. I don't know why people wouldn't think that. That's how all people have power.
Because people come and they try and like fit events into the ideology that they already have,
Yeah,
and that's not how things work. People like, I mean, there are probably political actors who, I mean, any way you look at it, it's a story of corruption, and the fact that there's a political system that allows that to fucking happen, like the fuck. I need to get off this soapbox. Sorry.
Guapo said, "Who on stage doesn't smoke pot?" I don't think Top Gun does.
It's funny. I did on my birthday. My friend gave me one of those vape pens, and I felt like it was the first time I'd smoked in I don't know how long, years, and it felt like I was melting. And I had like 10 or 15 people at the house, and I told them, I was like, I'm going to sleep now, and I just passed out for an hour and a half while they all chilled at my house.
Busted. We're all
Mom,
busted.
I strictly
Mom was
have
here.
it. I strictly use it for back pain. Don't worry.
Yeah, I've got what's it called? Glaucoma.
Glaucoma. Mom was here.
Somebody asked a good question.
But
said, can you talk about? Hold on, Dylan. Can you talk about how voting rights will help the smaller investors? So I'll tell you right now, there's a feature that's baked into the Beats and Balancer code that if you vote, and Guapo can actually speak to this, if you vote or do any kind of governance in the ecosystem of Equinox, Beats, Balancer, your actual pools are boosted regardless. So it's a small amount, but I know for a fact that is true. So it's something that actually isn't in any of the documentation, but we know it to be true, and we don't know what part of the code it's in. But just as a delegated voter, somebody that's locked in for each epoch or whatever it is, however the voting system works. But by voting, regardless, you'll get boosted rewards. So that's currently baked in to the contracts. So at minimum, that will be there. But we have actually something to do with joints that could change a little bit about how that dynamic works.
Well, there's also sort of in this feature we're developing that somewhat elides the governance process, or it doesn't elide it. It's more like it just creates a little more modularity in these single staking. It's a funny thing. There's no way to describe it without describing it. It's sort of an alternative to a single staking model that allows you to do some really, really cool things with the tokens without impermanent loss, if that's your strategy. So like, again, the goal is to provide a lot of options and strategies.
And that's so that people feel like they're constantly gaming the system, right? Like we want people to be engaging with the platform.
Well, not to feel like it. We want to provide those opportunities
like
for people to game the system.
And allow people to find the most optimal strategy for themselves. And the joints system will allow that in a couple different ways of being able to customize things to the user experience. So it's going to be really cool, man. I can't wait to speak more about it.
If airdrop season teaches you anything, it's that people really love chasing incentives. You know?
We could see it with Tomb Forks. I mean, how many people went to the 5% daily APRs because
and if you can get that all from sort of one storefront, that's kind of like where else you need to go.
Yeah, and I think some of these things will really drive a lot of value. And again, I just want to go back to what we can do for Glacier, other than the emissions being exponentially tapered off. A lot of the alpha and delta Glacier pairs will have cool burn and buyback features that will be in line with making sure that there's always spurts of volatility in the token to some extent eventually, and the amount you can do to lock up and burn your Glacier, that in my opinion is one of those fair values where you're like, I want to give up Glacier to do this because I feel like I get a leg up, right? I feel like I'm doing something special that is going to benefit me and my account. And so being able to have all of that in place is really cool because then the user is not looking at Glacier like, oh, I get to farm for this incentive and then I get to dump it for more cash. And of course there will be users like that. And trust me, we understand that. But we just need to make sure that these other things outweigh that to some extent for a lot of users. And I think what we have really could do that. But I'm happy that everybody's excited. I hope that we've spoken enough about it. I know this has kind of been a Glacier AMA, but I did release the Discord today, so I know that I want to focus on it. Hopefully, we can get some big numbers up and start pushing more members into the chat. I'll tell you one thing: we're not going to do. We're not going to do a Twitter competition with some paid influencer, and we're not going to do any kind of invite contest right now. It's just a surefire way to get your shit wrecked with bots. So we want to grow it organically, but we do plan on doing some hefty marketing, some big boy marketing, getting on some of the more traditional platforms to get our face out there and to let people know that we're serious and that we're developing something that's not just an accessory to Frozen Walrus, but it is this large DeFi DEX that will bring value to the ecosystem of Avalanche. Do we have any more questions? If not, we're at the 8:01 mark. We've made it. We're an hour in. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Let me know if you have no more questions. We'll give it up here and let the good times roll.
Did you say that? You're fucking fired.
Yeah.
I can't get Walter to do anything.
What have you done to him?
He ran off. You pissed him off.
What did you do? Did you pause him?
No. Said the music cue stopped.
Yeah, you have to /play a new
I already did that.
video. I don't see it in there.
Well, because it only responds to me, goober.
No, now you just use it.
He's thinking.
I think you have to do this.
He may not want to. Where's he at? Yeah, bring his
Man,
ass back in here.
This man, you have killed him. He actually isn't responding. Oh my
Aha. Yeah, fuck you, Austin.
God. He's back, boys, ladies and gentlemen. He's back.
What the fuck? There is no music. Did you kill him?
No, I didn't kill him. Tapa said, "Will you need some Glacier graphics for AMAs? Will you do any?" Yeah, for sure. We're gonna need more. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna let everybody off and enjoy their weekend. I hope you enjoyed it. I guess this is obviously the time that I should tell you to do something positive with your life. Let go of the hate. Do something positive, like, I don't know, walk a grandma across the street, touch some grass. Do the things that you're supposed to. If all you do is work and then go home and hate work and get on the computer and hate work and then wake up and still hate work, it could be a terrible process that I've been involved in, and I know it sucks, and I just hope that you find a little bit of happiness and can keep pushing. But be a good person and enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next Friday. Be mindful of the Glacier chat. We're going to be doing both. I'll probably be adding some more mods on. But until then, we will see you next week. Everybody give a big shout out to Owen, our advisor, for coming on and talking more about Glacier.
Thanks, man. Thank you for having me. No, I
course.
appreciate it. Really.
And we'll have him on.
Sorry, I
pretty
know I'm a
soon.
goofball. I'm pretty underslept at the moment, so I'm struggling to maintain my normal good composure. But
No, the most
I'm
underslept you ever
I'm
were.
deadly serious about this project and very excited.
That last time that you traveled out east and then came back and you were super jet lagged, that was the most underslept I think that I had experienced from Owen.
That was bad.
That was bad. But he's here, he's healthy, he's happy. And yeah, so appreciate everybody. Be checking out some of the events in this Discord. We're going to be doing some AMAs with a protocol called Momentum. We're going to be doing some AMAs with Up, which is done by NB, Nick from Grape. And then we are going to have, of course, Owen back on to speak more about Magic World and show us around in the world and let everybody join in and get into an arena battle. Yeah, there's a lot to be excited about. Fuck the Bear season. We're here building. So enjoy your night, guys. I'll talk to you guys later.